and welcome to a video review of Alien Earth Season 1, Episodes 1 and 2. For anyone that doesn't know me, I'm Bryant Dillon. I'm the president of Fanbase Press. I'm also co-host of our podcast, The Fanbase Weekly, and I'm also a huge Alien fan. Have been for some time. The Dark Horse comics are what actually pulled me into the comic book world, and obviously I've been reviewing, analyzing, and making comics ever since. So the TV series is a big deal for me, as it is for a lot of Alien fans, and I wanted to be able to sort of share my opinions and some of my insights with all of the Fanbase Press viewers out there. So where to start? Well, let me put it this way. Recently, last month at Comic-Con, the big hit at the show was the Alien Earth activation. These activations are off-site creations, if you will. A lot of them are social media specific in the way that they're built to be recorded and posted to social media. They have specific photo setups where you can take some really awesome photos that look fantastic for Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or Blue Sky. And this really helps them spread knowledge and enthusiasm for the shows. So this year's big one was right outside the convention hall and one of the major hotels, the Hilton Bayfront. It was a crash, much like in the show. It was a spaceship crash where specimens contained in the spaceship had escaped, and you walk through the crash, see some of the effects, see some of the specimens, and have the opportunity to take pictures and get a few cool pieces of swag. There were two versions. I did a daytime version. There was also a nighttime version that was apparently very, very different and had a little more jump scares and story to it. The version that I did was a little less impressive, still very cool. As you can see from some of the pictures, it was a very an amazing layout, but was sort of minimized during the day to just that, a place to take some photographs, see some sort of haunted house level special effects or setups, and then get a cool alien themed soft drink at the end. So not the most impressive thing for me as a fan. I really wanted to dig into the mythology. And why am I explaining this in such detail? Well, because as an Alien fan, it was interesting because all through San Diego Comic-Con and after, people are like, this activation is amazing. Did you get in? We couldn't get in. This was the hit of the show. And I just didn't feel that way. I didn't hate it, but I wasn't as excited as everyone else. And so I didn't try to ruin anyone's excitement, but my excitement myself, my reactions were tempered compared to my peers. That is how I feel about Alien Earth. I've been very cagey, sort of suspicious of this series because the concept, the fact that it's a prequel, that it's on Earth, those things seemed like a uphill battle. They didn't seem exactly like the smartest choices or the most interesting choices, and so I wasn't sure where this was going. But at the same time, Noah Hawley is a well-regarded creator. He's had a lot of credibility that he's built up. He's a good storyteller, and so I wanted to be patient and see what this person had to offer. So ultimately, while I was not as impressed, I'm not out there like some people are saying this is the best since the first two films, or this is the future of the Alien franchise, or this is amazing. I was so sucked in. I'm not feeling that, but I will say that there's enough going on this series that I am going to finish it through the rest of the season, and it has a lot of potential. I loved a number of things and a number of things I didn't like. So let me go ahead and sort of take you through what I liked, what I didn't like, and then just add on some little odds and ends, maybe point you towards some comics before we wrap up. And then, of course, I'll be back again as the third episode of the series is just right around the corner. All right, so let's start with what did I like? You know what? Again, I go back to another Alien experience recently that I'm just a little bit outside the fandom with, or alignment with the fandom. Alien Romulus is about a year old at this point. I was mixed on Alien Romulus as well. The quick version is that I really enjoyed the first half and really didn't like the second half. I feel like the things that Romulus did that were really interesting and unique in world building at the beginning of the film with the characters and the mining world, those were really fascinating to see. As we got further into the space station, which started out really interesting and sort of alien isolation-ish, we got more and more referential, and I lost more and more interest. It felt a little empty towards the end because of that for me. There is some similarities here with Alien Earth. The things that I really, really did enjoy happen to be the world building, the expansion of the corporate mythology, and these ideas of the synthetics. Now, we have we have a setup at the beginning of the series that I think is really, really fascinating, where they're talking about these corporate uh, nation states, pretty much, these giant corporate mega corporations battling it out. And the technology of the day that's going to lead everyone forward is synthetics, androids, whether that's combining ourselves with androids, transferring our personalities in androids, or just androids themselves. And it seems like from the explanation given, there are three types. We've got synthetics, which we've seen before, like the androids like Bishop or Ash that we've seen in the series. We have cyborgs, who are cybernetically enhanced humans, humans that have been upgraded, if you will. Questionable about whether we've seen those in the series. It seems like maybe we have in the franchise previously. And then one thing that seems to be completely new, or is it, is that we have hybrids. And these are synthetic bodies where a human consciousness is downloaded into them. Very Dollhouse-ish, if you've ever watched that Joss Whedon series. This stuff's fascinating. I mean, it's really topical given that the world we live in is becoming increasingly more controlled by corporations, that they are almost in this arms race for AI technology within our own world. So seeing this stuff created or explained or fleshed out is really interesting. It's also interesting that it seems like the series might be an explanation or an origin story for why Weyland-Yutani is the dominant corporation when we pick up later in the franchise, or maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe this is going to expand out and show us that there are more corporations than just Weyland-Yutani. Maybe Weyland-Yutani is the biggest or one of the biggest, but this is going to fill in some of the gaps and give us a little bit more of a fuller corporate world for future Alienverse stories. The other thing that I really like about this is I sort of noted a little bit is that we're playing with story elements, kind of like Star Wars systems, story elements that have been introduced either in extended universe canon or hinted about in the other films, but not really explicitly explored. And what I mean by that is really the end of Alien 3. We have this very mysterious character of Bishop 2. He's also sometimes referred to as Michael Bishop. He says at the end of the movie when he's approaching Ripley that he is the one who built the original Bishop android. And the question that has always been debated is who is this? Is this a human? Is this a android who looks like a human? Is this just another Bishop android, or is it somebody in between, a cyborg? And the mystery that's left there because of the way that film is cut is that we see this individual take a pretty rough injury to the head. He's struck with a massive metal implement, and his ear is, literally hanging off his head, but he doesn't react with the same pain or panic that someone who is only human would. He is in pain, he is frustrated, but he is able to continue talking. He's able to stand there and order the soldiers around him. So it has been sort of suggested that this is an enhanced individual. Maybe this is a human who is a cyborg with cybernetic implants, or maybe it's an android, where there's a personality downloaded into it, that the individual who is running the show isn't really in that body. And this has sort of been explored in some of the video games. There are several video games that sort of bring that character back and refer to him as Carl Wayland or Michael Wayland, and play with the mythology, but nothing that has been explicitly canonized and said this is what happened there, or this is how these technologies work in the Alien universe. So it would be interesting to see what this series adds to that, and how films like Alien 3 will be looked at differently. Will gain a new rewatch value, I guess, through whatever we learn through Alien Earth. All right, last but not least, I would definitely say the cast is phenomenal. I don't think anyone cast is doing a bad job. Everyone's doing fantastic. Some of the characters maybe are written more interesting than others, but a very well cast show. And I'm interested in seeing what we learn about some of these characters. If characters that are not necessarily engaging me yet will, as we get through the series. The two that are standing out to me, and I probably am not alone in this, Sydney Chandler as Wendy, who is the first hybrid. She is really engaging to me. She's a little more advanced, takes a big than the other hybrids. She takes a big sister role. She's got motivation because of her brother. And this relationship with the other character that I find engaging, Timothy Olyphant as Kirsch, who is the Prodigy Corporation's synthetic chief scientist. He serves as a mentor to Wendy, and they've got a very interesting relationship that I hope to see develop. They have a very interesting conversation about the idea of animals living, that an animal's life is all about fear, that humans have evolved beyond that fear, or at least convinced themselves they've evolved beyond that fear, but that if you're an animal, your life is fear and you die. If you're a synthetic, that's not the case. It's interesting. We'll see where that goes. Okay, for things I didn't like. And I'm going to try to be patient here, because I feel like with any TV series, it deserves a little while to get on its feet. But sadly, the alien is not working for me. The xenomorph. There are elements I like about it. I like that it's a little bit more of a four-legged hunter. I like that it's got some Alien 3 design motifs almost to it. But the movements seem off to me. The design seems a little strange. The head at times in close-ups doesn't look real. It looks like a costume or produced plastic, if you will. And the body movements feel very much like a man in the suit, except for when it's launching itself on its four legs. Whenever we're doing these things where it's like sort of hidden in the shadows and then moves and reveals itself, the movement doesn't feel the way that I, as a fan, understand the alien to feel. And I will say this is some picky stuff, but I also think it's important to conveying the elegance and the artistry and the uniqueness of this creature. It's not just another movie monster. And if you look at the care taken with the movement in Aliens, in Alien 3, that is very, very consistent. And I think that does come back in the Ridley Scott films. When we have Covenant, I think they really succeed in that. I think that you see an example of it not working and being closer to Alien Earth in the AVP films, where it almost feels like I don't know, a wrestler or a combatant or just an animal without that sort of unsettling grace that makes the alien unique. So this alien is very vicious, but it's just not moving the way that I wish it would. Small complaint, and we'll see what happens. I do know that they're not using ADI for the creature effects, which they were sort of the go-to studio for xenomorph effects. So we'll see how this evolves over the next couple episodes. The other thing that I wanted to mention that I'm a little on the fence about is that some of the Earth, some of the Prodigy Corporation just looks too pretty, too Star Trek, if you will, utopian. Now, my hope is that this is somewhat of a facade, and I'll explain that in a minute. But a good example of the issue that I'm having is that the Earth in the corporate dystopia that is the Alien franchise, the Earth is not something that we have imagined as beautiful, gorgeous, paradise. Now, maybe there's something to the Neverland metaphor and what Prodigy represents, where that will become thematically important or explained. But right now, Earth seems pretty great. Now, on the counter end, perhaps if you have terraforming technology, why wouldn't you terraform your own planet? But in my own understanding of the alien universe of the corporate dystopia, that wouldn't be the case. That would be a technology reserved only for the super rich, and there would be pockets, if not majority of the world, that is the slum that we would expect it to be. So I'm wondering if that will be revealed or explained as we go forward. I have some similar hopes for the transfer technology. So this is the technology where we essentially have someone in this case children with terminal diseases lay down on one table, an android body on another table, and there is a transfer almost seamlessly of personality. Personality wakes up in the synthetic body and leaves the human body. There's some flashing lights or some like noises, but it's not very invasive. It happens like that. It reminds me of the transporters or other technology from Star Trek. And again, that just doesn't seem to gel with what we've seen of the technology represented in the Alienverse established by Ridley Scott and James Cameron. Space is rough. Stuff is tough. We have seen what wealth and technology can bring you in the Prometheus films, but that's rare. And so honestly, my real hope here is that there is a thematic conundrum coming, and that being that there is no transfer. That what we're dealing with here is not the miracle that we think it is. It's not someone's personality is leaving their body and going into a synthetic body, but actually the what would you even call it? The horror, the sci-fi horror of the personality in the synthetic body has all your memories, has your personality, but it's not you. It's a copy of you. It's another version of you that believes it's you. But it's not the same version that was in your human body. It's not possible to transfer that. So I'm wondering if that's going to be revealed at some point. I think that would present a really interesting conflict for all the hybrid characters, as well as a really interesting conflict for Wendy's brother, who is going to be first reintroduced to a sister he thought had died, who is now alive, and then have her taken away again when he finds out it's not really his sister. And then the debate, of course, philosophically, what is the difference? Is someone with all the memories and personality of the original individual not a person, not that person? Or are they? That stuff's really interesting, and I think it would be well worth exploring. All right, let's talk some odds and ends. not much to go over in this. I'm still waiting to see where the series goes. But the one thing that I find myself pondering a lot, and we'll see if this ends up being a flaw or a mystery, is what's going on with the Maginot. That's the USCSS Maginot. That's the ship that crashed at the beginning. This is a Weyland-Yutani ship. It seems very, very close in design, if not exactly uh, like the Nostromo, which you can see right here. Um, and we have both the cyborg character of Morrow, who is played by Babu Sise. Um, he's doing a fantastic job. Very mysterious character, human who has synthetic parts, clearly some sort of individual mission as he abandoned some of his crew members to scuttle the ship, if you will. And I think it's already been revealed in plot descriptions that Weyland-Yutani purposely crashed the ship as a way to battle Prodigy and their rise in technology. So I'm sure that Morrow is related to that. But I guess what I'm asking myself is, what's going on? Why does this ship look like the Nostromo? If it is like the Nostromo, why is this the ship that they're using to gather these dangerous creatures? What's going on here? Because the Nostromo was it's space truckers, as we know. It's a tugboat. It's a very working class position. It's not exactly the ship that you would choose specifically to go get these creatures, but maybe yeah, you would, if one is close, you might divert it to covertly pick up one of these creatures like they did in Alien. What is going on with the Maginot? I don't know. What was its original mission? I don't know. Why isn't it a ship more like what we've seen in Prometheus? I don't know. I'm hoping that there's explanations to all of this. The other thing to know, I think, is these ships always seem to have important names. So the Maginot seems to be a reference to the Maginot Line. This was named after the French Minister of War, André Maginot, and it was a line of concrete fortifications, obstacles, and a weapon installation built by France in the 1930s to deter invasion by Nazi Germany and force them to move around the fortifications. So maybe this is thematically being used as a fortification by Weyland-Yutani, or maybe there's another deeper meaning that will be revealed in time. As I mentioned in the beginning of the review, I'm an Alien Comics fan. You're not getting out of here without some comic book recommendations. So let me send you with a few recommendations, a few that are comic book specific and a few that are Fanbase Press specific before we sign off. So first up, if you're liking this feeling of a team of androids heading into an alien-filled area and sort of navigating that on their own. This has been done before, and it's been done in so many interesting ways. Not to take anything away from Alien Earth, but if you're looking for more of that, the ones that I would definitely recommend. First up, Alien Icarus. This is also known as Alien Volume 3 Icarus. It's a 6-issue comic book series that was published by Marvel Comics from September 2022 to February 2023. This is a story that features a cast of synthetic characters. They're formerly known as the Steel Team, and they have ventured deep into xenomorph territory for a chance to combat human extinction, I guess. Very interesting story because you have synthetics who have sort of stepped away from the world of humans. They feel humans are not trustworthy, but they're drawn back in with the idea of helping humans. There's a certain, if I remember correctly, there's a certain chemical or compound within the alien egg that is going to save lots of lives. It's only present on this one planet that is overrun by xenomorphs, and the military bargains with this group of synthetics to employ them or encourage them to take this risk for the betterment of humans. This one is written by friend of Fanbase Press, Philip Kennedy Johnson, fantastic writer. Can't go wrong with him. It's penned by Julius Ota, was colored by Jan Nitro, lettered by Clayton Cowles, and then has covers by Bjorn Barends. It's edited by Sarah Brunstad, and then, of course, as I said, it's published by Marvel Comics. It was part of their new launch after they got the license. Definitely worth checking out. I would also recommend a Dark Horse comic because I'm a big Dark Horse guy. Those are the ones that got me in. And the one that comes to mind for this Alien Earth is Aliens Stronghold. This is a four-part limited comic book series that was published by Dark Horse, as I mentioned. It was published in 1994. So this one was written by John Arcudi, penciled by Doug Mankey, inked by Mankey and Jimmy Palmiotti, colored by Perry McNamee, lettered by Ellie DeVille, and edited by Ryder Windham. This is a really interesting story. It's only 4 issues, so it's a quick read, but it's got a funny sense of humor. It almost feels like it's out of the James Gunn, I guess, tone of storytelling, with that sort of combination of humor and weirdness and poignancy. And so this is a story about two individuals who go to a isolated space station or moon, to investigate someone that is being accused of illicit experiments and corruption. I believe they're employed by the Weyland-Yutani Corporation, if I remember correctly, and they're being sent there to investigate this man, Dr. Nordling, who, as I said, was being accused of illicit activities. He is a synthetic expert. He builds synthetics all over. He lives on this space station or outpost with only synthetics. He's got normal human synthetics. He's got synthetics who are completely submissive to him. He's got some that have to hold certain powers of authority within the outpost, and so they are allowed to disagree with him, but he gets into these tense arguments with them. And then he also has like a xenomorph synthetic that he can send into this alien hive that he sort of is experimenting on, and get feedback. And then he also has like this massive sort of hunter-killer synthetic, like a RoboCop, Ed 209 type deal, where he's just a tank of a synthetic, and just crushes aliens, by the fistful. You get this murder mystery with all this stuff going on, all these characters, but also just these interesting variations on what it is to be an artificial person, how human you are, where your loyalties lie, and what they think of humans, what they think of being treated like this and being regarded like this. So very interesting stuff. Seek that out as well. Last but not least, I'm going to recommend two articles I've written for Alien Day, which is the annual celebration of everything Alien franchise. I'll make sure to post these in the notes for this video review. But I wrote a piece on Alien Day 2018, basically examining who is Bishop 2 and what might he be, which very relevant given that we're now diving into what cybernetic, synthetic, and hybrid technologies are. And then also to add to the mix, just because I hope this is where the series keeps going, Alien Day 2020, I wrote a piece on corporate dystopia within the Alien franchise. What it means for us, what is to be explored, how it speaks to what we're going through in modern times. So I'll leave it there. I'm going to be back very soon. We have a new episode coming out. But if you are an Alien fan, if you got something out of this, thanks for watching. And if you have any questions, if you have anything you want me to address, go ahead and leave a comment below. I'll try to answer any comments or questions that I get in the next review. And hit that subscribe button. Subscribe, get more Fanbase Press goodness. We talk about the Alien franchise quite a bit here, but there's also a lot of other great stuff we do, including publishing comics. So be sure to stop by fanbasepress.com and check out what we've got to offer. All right, everyone. This has been Bryant Dillon for Fanbase Press, where we celebrate fandoms and create new ones. I'll catch you next time.